So today we're going to talk about special functions, and we're going to kind of do this a little different than your book. Okay, so the biggest thing I want you to understand about today's lesson is that you're going to need to pay attention and kind of go through things as we do them in class, because everything's not going to be the same as it's presented in the book. The very first thing we're going to talk about is the greatest integer function. And what that means is that means the greatest integer less than or equal to x. And so x is any number, x is any value. And so an example would be if I had the number 5.25. Okay? What is the greatest integer that is less than 5.25?
Do you go to download?
What is the greatest integer that is less than 5.25?
5.
5, good. So let's think about another one. 10.16. What is the greatest integer that is less than 10.16? 10. What about 10.99? What is the greatest integer less than 10.99? 10. And so what that means is notice here there are two values here that give me an answer of 10. It's kind of like too when you deal with your cell phone. Okay, when you deal with your cell phone and you have a call that lasts 5 minutes and 5 seconds. If you have a call that lasts 5 minutes and 5 seconds, how much do they charge you? How many minutes? 6 minutes. If you have a call that goes 5 minutes and 59 seconds, what do they charge you?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. And so that's along the same lines as this greatest integer function. What I want you to take from this, I want you to understand the greatest integer function right here. F of x equals, now notice how that's written, and I'm going to write it a little bit bigger so you all can see. It's written this way. F of x equals. And that's how it is written. It's got a bracket kind of with two lines through it. I want you to take from that that's a stair-step function. That's what the graph looks like. And that's what we're going to take from today's lesson on that, on the greatest integer function. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get to absolute value functions. And so first of all, we're going to review a little bit. We know that the domain is the set of x values that works in a function. So domain is the set of x. Range is this set of y. So today what we're going to do using GeoGebra is we're going to graph functions and we're going to determine what the domain and the range are. And that's it. So let's go ahead and look at this one. It says graph each function, identify the domain and the range. So in GeoGebra, where you need to go is go down to the input rectangle at the bottom. I need you to type in the following, y equals, do not use a capital Y, it gives you a weird error otherwise. You're going to do ABS, that's what the absolute value symbols are. ABS, 2x, and then minus 4. Okay, the equal to sign, I believe, is located right with the plus. Okay? Yep, so you're going to go ahead and type in on the input, y equals ABS, parentheses, 2x minus 4. Hit enter, and you're going to notice that you get a partial graph, not the full graph. Okay. And so what I need you to do is I need you to go ahead and go to graphics view. Remember how we went there last week? Okay, we could right click and go to graphics view. Yep, perfect. No, that's perfect. Okay, right click and go to graphics view at the bottom. We're going to change the window a little bit. So I want you to change the x-axis so that on the x-axis I want you to go from -5 to +5. I also want you to go on the y-axis from -5 to +5. So I want you to change your graphics view. X from -5 to +5, y from -5 to +5. Trying to graph it. Okay, go ahead. Hit tab.
So
Go ahead and change it.
minus is y-axis. How would you guys do that?
It did?
Those
Must be put up somewhere.
Same one. Yeah.
Okay, so
You just opened it up like this.
there. Okay, so now, hopefully you've all changed the graphics view, and you need to compare what you have with what I have up here on the screen. That's what your window should be, and that's what it should look like.
So the minimum is -5?
Yep, -5 and +5. Now, the reason why mine doesn't show the -5 and the +5 is because I had to actually cut my screenshot, so I couldn't get it exactly without putting some lines in there.
Yeah, mine doesn't say -5 either.
No, and it doesn't, because it goes by twos. Okay, and so now, we need to determine the domain and the range.
Right.
So remember, the domain is the set of x values that works. So in looking at my picture, oops, my picture just, there we go. In looking at the picture, what would be the set of x values? So when I say set of, shoot, there we go. When I say the set of x values, I'm looking left to right. So could I go all the way to the left of my graph? Will it work? So if I picked like -1,000, could I plug -1,000 in here and get an answer? Yeah. If I plug -1,000,000, could I get an answer? Yeah, so basically I could plug anything in on the left side. What about the right side? Could I plug 1,000 in? Could I plug 1,000,000 in? So pretty much I can plug anything in and get an answer. So my domain here is going to be all real numbers. And most of the time today, that will be your domain. You can plug anything in. Now the range, on the other hand, is what I look at that goes up and down. So remember, domain was left to right, range is up and down. So is there anything up and down that I can't get? So, can I get 4? Yep, got a graph right here. Right here. Oh, and it just disappeared. What about 3? Can I get 3? 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. No. What is the lowest value I can get? -4. So my range in this case is going to be, oops, it keeps disappearing, all real numbers. And then what about those? All, shoot, it keeps disappearing. All real numbers greater than or equal to -4. All real numbers greater than or equal to -4. Okay, let's look at another one.
Why is that? Oh, because that's where the.
That's where the V is, yep. Okay, so I want you to type this one in. So now how are you going to type this one in? Y equals ABS. Now the x minus 2 are going to have to go in parentheses. Okay, the x minus 2 are going to have to go in parentheses. So if you want to delete your other line, you can right-click on it and delete
It's kind of cool.
if you want.
Nothing goes all the way down to -19.
You can change it though if you right-click it. Okay, so in looking at that, you can either zoom out or you can change your window. Okay, and so you should get something that looks like that.
How do you change your window?
Okay, change your window. Remember, you can go up to Options, Graphics View, and you could change. In this case, I went from -2 to +6 on the X, and on the Y, I went from -1 to 3. So you could do that if you would want.
Can you repeat that?
I went from -1 on the X, to the max of, go to 6. Change that to -1. And on the Y, I went from -1, and that'd be fine, all the way up to 3.
What'd you do on the apps?
Just leave that.
Yeah, that would be fine. There you go. Okay. So basically, I just kind of picked numbers that kind of worked around the graph. And so now I need to determine the domain and the range. So the domain, what's the domain looking like, folks?
All real numbers.
All real numbers, because any number I can plug in and get an answer. The range, on the other hand,
All real numbers
all real numbers
greater or equal to 0.
greater than or equal to 0. Good. Why is it 0?
It's low school.
That's my low spot right there. That's as low as it goes, exactly right. Good job. Oops, disappeared. Ah, there we go. That's as low as it goes. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at another one. Now this one you're going to have to enter it in. Y equals negative ABS of x, and then add it to 1. Yeah, chances are, come test time, we're going to have to do this on your test. So, what do you notice is the big difference about this one?
It's negative.
It's negative, so what happens when it's negative? What did you notice?
The other way.
Ah, it goes the other way. Oops. So it goes upside down. Okay. So, what's going to be our domain? Domain is going to be all reals again.
Dang.
You're probably going to get tired of writing that. Okay, range. What's the range going to be here?
All real numbers less than 1.
Perfect. All real numbers less than or equal to 1. So this one's different because it's less than. Questions? Think you can handle that then for your homework? That's pretty much all I have for today. Okay, so this is what you need to do then for the rest of today. For the rest of today, you need to make sure, okay, that you get your scatter plots done, as well as start working on page 105, 24 through 29. Okay, 24 through 29. Yes, 24 through 29 will all have to be done on GeoGebra.
What do you mean?
Okay.
This is what we're
So
doing.
on 24 and 29, just so that we're clear, this is what you're going to do. You're going to do it exactly as we did the 3 previous ones. You're going to graph it. You're going to then determine the domain and the range, and that's it.
Wait,
So that is what is due.
we have to do our assignments on the computer.
Yeah. Well.